welcome to the Congo Hour. I am your host, Waynna. Trippy is not here this evening. I feel like we're going back and forth, like 1 week he here, 1 week I'm not, 1 week I'm here, 1 week he's not. But he had a city council meeting. I keep forgetting. So we pre-record the show. And I should have said that from the beginning because a lot of people call or want to say something and they think that we're on. They'll send a text like, can you please talk about this event? Well, we record every Wednesday, allegedly every Wednesday, and we come on live. Well, it's not live. We come on in your homes on Sunday. So that's how it goes. But I want to thank everyone so much for tuning in. I want to send a special shout out and a thank you to Miss Renee from the Acme Floral Department on Route 202. I left a doctor's appointment and I love watermelon. So I said, let me run by to the Acme and grab some watermelon. When I went in, there was like I wanted cut watermelon. There was no cut watermelon. So Miss Renee saw me when I was leaving and she was like, you okay? I was like, not really. I came to get some watermelon. She's like, wait a minute. So she had someone go in the back. They cut me up some watermelon. So thank you so very much. That was so kind of you. And she wanted to send a special thank you to Trippy for allowing her family to use the parking lot at 24th and Market for his big prom send-off. And I wish I got his name from her, but he left from Miss Renee's, which is on 25th and Market. And because, it was like it was a parade. I saw it on social media, and hopefully we can show you some of the clips for that as well. So thank you so very much. I am so excited that my therapist, the lady that I'm always talking about, I was sharing with her, I think I talk about her like every show that we have. So I am so grateful and thankful that she took time out of her busy schedule to come and sit with us on the couch and just talk about some mental health issues. So welcome, Shea.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Listen, I really wish Trippy was here because I know that he was really looking forward to you coming on, sharing with us. But like I said earlier, he has his duties as city council.
Right,
so
understandable.
That's what he is doing. So share with our viewing audience a little bit about yourself and how you got into the mental health field, if you don't mind.
Sure. Thank you. So my name is Shea Marriott, and I am a licensed mental health therapist here in the state of Delaware. Now, before I became a therapist, believe it or not, I was in the music industry.
Wait,
yeah,
are you serious?
I'm serious. I sing.
Now, sometimes we have our little personal talks before our session. You've never brought that up.
Yeah. I was in the music industry since I was young, in my teenage years, all the way up until, I would say, late 20s is when I decided to just do something different.
So wait, what did you do?
I was a singer. Yeah, I sing. So with that being said, that was my passion. That was truly my passion. And, at some point in life, you have to figure it out, right?
Yes.
After having 3 different major record deals, things just was not moving the way I thought it was going to move.
Okay.
So I decided to leave the industry. Now I had to figure out what was going to be my next passion. So I went through the whole banking industry, business and all of that, until one day, my mother, who was a teacher, she asked me if I would mentor this young lady. I think she was probably maybe about 10 or 11 years old at the time. And I did. I started mentoring her, and she had experienced abuse from her mother. And I was just like, wow, I'm really feeling good with this. I'm seeing her growth, and it was just, it felt like it was something I was supposed to be doing. So I started looking more into, working with the youth and, what avenue I would want to take. So I decided to make a choice. I went back, got my undergrad in psychology, and then I got my master's in clinical social work, and I decided to become a therapist.
Wow.
So that's how I got into the field, is doing mentorship first with our youth. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to say it's crazy. Like that is, I'm gonna say that was ordained by God.
I believe it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because although, and we talk about this a lot on the show, although one door closed, it's like you made your way to where you are, and I'm about to cry already.
Yeah.
Woo. You made yourself to where your true calling is.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's why, I mean, my message to the youth is, like, you know, we have people that are trying to get record deals, people that are trying to get deals for basketball and football, right? You know, always have a backup plan. If that does not work out, there's always something else. I truly believe it, you know? So where I thought I was walking in my purpose then, I truly feel that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because it's just effortless, and I absolutely love what I do.
I was going to say you do it very well.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Okay, so how long have you been a therapist?
I have been a therapist for over 13 years now. Yeah, I want to say more close to 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you just start out with children?
I did. I did. I started out with children. And, you know, when you finish with your degree and everything, it's just like you want to come in and be this super social worker, right? The superhero. But I quickly found that I can't save everybody. And I think we have that savior mentality where you just want to hold these babies close and try to fix it. But a lot of things we can't fix with our youth. Most of the time as therapists, we're kind of putting Band-Aids on issues that are more like surfacing at home. So if the parents are not in therapy and we're not doing family sessions, then we're not really getting to the root of the problem.
So you did more children? I'm going back to the school now. Did you, once you started mentoring the young lady, did you kind of branch out there to mentor other children?
I did. And then my first job was probably, they said if you can get through IOP, then you can do any type of therapy. So IOP is intensive outpatient therapy. And I was working for the Brandywine program. So we were doing therapy and community intervention with the youth in their own environments. So they wouldn't come in the office. We would go to the homes. We would take them on trips. Some of these children never even seen outside of Wilmington area, right? They've never even been to the beach, Rehoboth, or anything like that. So we would take them on trips and help them transition into the community, and, you know, with their behaviors that they may have been having, be able to be in the community and still use their coping skills. So it was a great opportunity and a great learning experience. And then from there, I went to Lisa Savage, which is my sister friend and the owner of the biggest private-owned Black practice here in Delaware. So, and that led me into the schools working with the youth.
Okay, all right. And how did you transition to adults?
Well, I went from younger kids to teenagers, right? And I still will see teenagers here and there. But I made my transition to adults because I felt like I had more control over their change, right? So working with children, and I still work with the youth. I will always do that. But working with children, again, it's like putting the Band-Aid on it, right? Whereas adults, they're more willing to, okay, what changes do I need to make? What do I need to do to get on this journey of healing and, you know, correcting whatever's going on? With the children, it's a little bit difficult because you have the families, and sometimes the families are not involved. They just want to bring them to therapy and say, hey, you fix it, right? So it's just important to be able to have that. And it can be very draining, you know? And I'm a mom. So being able to separate being a mom and a therapist with a lot of these babies that's out here, it can be very challenging. So I had to make sure that, you know, I wasn't experiencing, you know, transference.
I can relate to that, being in the funeral home industry. It's like you take on, well, I know for me, it was like I was taking on their loss. Like sometimes I literally felt like I was a part of their family.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So I want to move on over to when you and I met.
Okay.
Now, I don't even remember how long have we been.
Are we going on 3?
It's
Are we going on 3 years? I know it's,
yes,
I think we're going on 3 years.
It was, okay, wow.
Time flies.
It does. And when I came to you, I want to say shout out to one of my best friends, Allison Garrett,
Yes.
who is unlicensed, but she was like my therapist.
Yes.
And I think like you, she was like, okay, this is my stopping place.
She's like, this is not my wheelhouse,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So she referred me to you, and I am so godly thankful that she did.
Yes.
When I started out with you, I was at a very low place, and I don't think anybody could really tell because I had a good way. I'm a social butterfly, so I'm always smiling whether I don't want to smile or,
Right.
So when I came to you, I was like, I really didn't think that I would be able to push my way through. One is because you're my third therapist.
Okay.
When I had an accident at one time, I had a therapist. But I felt like I didn't feel like that person could relate. So I stopped going. Actually, I pretended like I was okay.
Okay. Like I'm better now, right?
Yeah, like I don't need to come anymore. We're done here. And so, I wasn't healed, but I kept on going through life as if I was carrying bags.
Yeah.
And then when I was diagnosed with my rare muscle disorder, I went to another therapist. And I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere then. But with you, it was like I opened up like a vault or something, something that was locked. I see like a bank door,
Right.
pulling it open. And you've allowed me to grow in like so many areas. So I want to thank you so very much.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure working with you.
Oh, thank you.
It really is, and I think that the important part of that, what you just said, is a lot of people do give up after their first experience, right? So that's why I always encourage people to interview your therapist. Make sure it's the right fit, and it's okay. If your therapist says like they don't want to answer certain questions, then they're not the therapist for you. Interview your therapist because you're not going to get any work done if it's not a good fit, right?
Yeah, yes.
So
a lot of people ask like, so how did you do this and how did you do that? And you gave me so many tools. Like if I was dealing with one thing, you would give me a tool for that, and I would work on that. I think you probably given me like a toolbox of, I have a whole bunch of tools in my toolbox.
Yes, good.
No, that means that I was like really coming with a lot of stuff. So you was like, here's a tool for this, here's a tool for this.
Right.
So I'm able to, when I'm dealing with something, pull a tool out. And I share with our viewing audience often that I know that I am almost fully healed because the things that triggered me, they don't trigger me anymore.
Right.
So how do you, I know how you got me there, but like share, I don't want you to share like not all your techniques because then they wouldn't have to come to you, but share a little bit of things that you and how you helped me get through certain things. And I know you have the confidentiality thing, but I'm very transparent. And I'm transparent because I want people healed and whole.
Right.
I I'm like, God, I wish above all things that everybody prospers and be in health, even as their soul prospers. So I share some of the things that I've went through in life with people. So whatever you feel like you want to say, you can share it. I don't mind.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to understand about coming to therapy and your journey in therapy is it's really not, I mean, we play a role, but you play, as the patient, you play the biggest role because you have to have the willingness to want to change. And you came in with that. If you came in like, I'm okay, no, nothing's wrong, and just have this like wall, then it would be difficult, but you didn't come that way. You came with like, I want change. And most of the time, you already have your answers. You know
that's
it.
Right.
You know, you have it. It's just that we guide you to it and help you problem solve around it. Most people already know what it is that they're supposed to be doing or what's holding them back, right? But they just need that support from us to help guide them and also help give them coping skills to deal with maybe the depression, the anxiety, whatever that's coming along with it. So the willingness to want to change is the biggest thing. So far as for me, is I listen. You know, I listen. I try to understand what your experience is and not make it my experience and not generalize it as everybody is going through that or everybody is going to feel that way. But just confirming that, yes, that was hard. You know, yes, that is difficult. I can understand why you feel that way, right? And sometimes people just want to be understood.
Right.
They just want to feel like, yeah, it's okay for me to feel that way.
Right.
You know, I don't have to walk around with a smile on my face all the time, which is it was a coping mechanism for you, right?
Yes.
It's a lot of times we do smile when we're really, when we're in a lot of pain. The other thing is consistency. You showed up. You showed up every week to your therapy sessions. You know, we were weekly.
Yeah,
we're not even weekly anymore. We're once a month now, you know?
When you said one time you was like, oh, I think we're almost done. I'm like, let me hurry up and come up with something. Like, I don't want to be done. I'm like, let's find something else that we could talk about.
Right, yeah. So your willingness to change, you being very consistent and serious about your own healing and showing up was very important. The other thing, you came prepared. You came prepared. And I give homework. You know, so I don't give it every session, but a lot of my patients, they want homework,
right?
Because there's time. That's where the work is done. The work is not always done in the office with me. It's done between those sessions, right? So you will take your homework, you will take it seriously, and you will come back, and we will reflect on that, and then we will go from there. So I think it's a partnership, and that's what it's supposed to be. Okay. Yeah.
I know some of the things. The majority of the things that I brought to you, I thought that they were like minute things. And you said tragic, 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 tragic. A lot of times, specifically for Black women, we get this strong Black woman syndrome or stereotype, on us. And that's where I was. It's like, okay, that happened, but I'm a strong Black woman. I'm supposed to deal with it. It's nothing. Sweep it under the rug and move on.
Yeah. And that's, that's very tough. And we've all been called the strong Black woman, right? And I know I've been called that many a times. And I know who's, the person that is saying it, they mean well.
Right.
They do mean well. But sometimes it feels almost like don't say that to me. I don't want to hear that. I already know that. But sometimes we don't want to feel strong. We don't want to be strong. Why can't we just be in the moment, right? So we talk about the strong Black woman, but we don't see any other race being called that. The strong white woman, the strong Asian woman, it's always the strong Black woman. So why can't we just be? You know, we know that. We have that inner strength.
Right.
We were born,
Right.
you know, with that, right? Just like we were born with trauma. So, and mostly everything that we're dealing with is connected to some type of trauma, whether it's from our childhood or something, an experience that we recently, you know, may have had, but it's always connected to some type of trauma.
Yeah, I know a few times during our sessions, we would you would allude to the fact that that was from my childhood.
Right.
So a lot of things in our adult life that we don't reconcile with in our childhood, teenage years, whatever, it lingers on and carries on into our adulthood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does. And this is why we ask for the background when you come in, when you have intakes. We ask for all of this background and history. Some people are okay with it. Some people's like, why you need to know all of that, right? Because it's all connected. It's all connected. And if we can find out, like, maybe what some things happen in your childhood, you know, it might be a history of mental, I don't like to use the word mental illness, but it might be a history of mental disorders that's going on that you're connected to. You know, maybe this is why you're experiencing depression, because maybe your mom had it or your dad had it, right? So certain things are, it happens genetically, but then some things is kind of caused by, you know, what's happening in our lives.
Well, okay. I never knew that if a relative is dealing with depression, that it can be carried on. So I made a conscious decision to break that. If that's generational in my family, I don't know if it is, but if it is, it's like I want to break it. I don't want Amber or Hunter or Princess Nine to experience those things.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been doing my best to encourage Trippy and I both, and Meshach when he came on.
Yes.
To encourage men.
Yes.
To seek therapy.
Yeah.
Do you know why? I mean, the majority of the men that I know, they are right. I mean, they'll get through it. They don't need a therapist.
Yeah, get through it. Get through it is perfect word. Get through it. And I think we all, you know, not just our black men, but our black women as well. That's what we were told. We have to get through it. We have to push through it, right? And this is why, as we're pushing through it, we're packing it. We're packing it, right? So when you do come to therapy, it's like a lot to unpack because you've always been told your whole life, push through it, get over it, you know, you'll be okay. You're strong, you know, all of those things. So to answer your question in regards to black men specifically, I think the biggest reason is because we, as young boys, as young black boys, we tell our sons not to cry, suck it up, you know, don't be emotional, you know, all of these negative things that we speak to them where they can't show their feelings, right? So they're not raised to be vulnerable and to be able to express what's going on with them effectively, and they bottle it up. So now you want me to go speak to a therapist, and on top of that, you want me to speak to a therapist that don't look like me, right? Yeah. So that's a big issue when it comes to barriers. It's not enough black therapists that's out here. Now we're getting better. We are getting better, but we still have a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to black male therapists. Okay. It's like a unicorn here in the state of Delaware to find a black male therapist, right? So it's important that those barriers of, you know, being able to express yourself as a young child, you know, this is why it's important that our youth understand that mental health is important, because it's our youth. It's growing. Mental disorders is really, really growing amongst our youth now more than ever, right? So to be able to start the intervention early where they're growing up and it's normalized, I think we're going to have a generation of men now, where we are now, that are going to therapy, you know, and that's part of their routine, right? The other part is the mistrust. that Black people have had with just the medical model, period. You know, there's been a mistrust since slavery of us being mistreated or misdiagnosed, right? So now you want me to go and tell you everything that's going on with me, and what are you writing down? So I don't write in front of my patients. I do my notes afterwards.
Wait. So on that note, I'm glad you went there. I don't know what session it was, but I guess it was maybe the second session. I'm like, okay, I didn't see her moving her hands. Like, how the heck did she remember? He was like, okay, so last week you talked about this, and did you talk to such and such? And I was like, how you do that?
So that part is I mean, I don't know. I think that's a gift that I truly have. I do remember everything about my patients without having to write it down, because I don't do my note until after our session is over. But everything that you tell me, I'll come back, and you know, you've experienced it. I could just, you know, because I'm invested. I'm really invested. When we're talking, I'm invested and I'm paying attention. Now, I can go in a grocery store and forget everything I went in there to get.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. But when it comes down to my patients, I'm locked in.
So that speaks volume.
Thank
so
you.
I had thought, I'm gonna be honest with you, because we were doing Zoom. I'm like, she must have somebody, a secretary, taking notes or something over there.
No.
I knew not, but I'm like, well, how the heck? Because each session, you'd be like, okay, you had this homework. I was like, she remembered. I may have did part of it, not all of it. I was like, dang, hopefully she won't remember I had homework. But yeah, so that shows a lot of, that says a lot about you and your care for your patients.
Yeah. I'm locked in.
I see. All right, so if you don't mind, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
All right, perfect.
DETV has been Delaware's premium provider of creative digital and broadcasting solutions that bridges communities and connects people. We create great stories for all audiences. We deliver independent news throughout Delaware. We are digital platform innovators. And we develop marketing and sales solutions so you can stay connected to your audience. Now, why do we do what we do here on DETV? We do it because we care. So, keep watching and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Remember, DETV, online, on air, on time.
Welcome back to the show. I truly hope that you are gaining some information that will cause you to want to seek a therapist. Mental health is so important to me. And I know that years ago, it was looked at as a taboo, as if you should not go seek help. As Shea alluded to, you'd be all right. So before we go to what else I wanted to talk about, that's really important, because during my era, it was children be silent.
Right.
It's grown folks talking.
Right.
You know. However, when Hunter was born, we wanted him to be able to share whatever it was that that he was dealing with, or whatever have you. This generation that's coming up now, like you said, I mean, their parents allow them to do like almost everything and anything, which is good and bad.
Right.
So, yeah. But yes, so we're going to have the information. We're going to have Shea's email up for you. If you have any questions, not questions, don't call with questions. If you want her to, are you accepting the clients?
Okay.
Let's talk about that. You're not doing any more clients, or you gonna refer people? Talk to me. Yo, I'm in. I'm in. I'm in for life. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a lot going on, right? So,
oh yes,
yeah, I have a lot going on. So, I'm not accepting new clients at the Center for Child Development and Delaware Center for Counseling and Wellness. However, we just opened another practice called Amani Healing Therapy Center, which is strictly virtual, and I am taking clients there. Now, that is a self-pay only.
Okay.
The only reason why it's self-pay only is because we're going to be dealing with issues that insurance don't cover. So insurance companies, they want a diagnosis, something from the DSM-5, right? Whereas when you're doing self-pay, we can work on imposter syndrome. You know, we can work on divorce recovery, things that insurance company is not going to cover. So Amani Healing Therapy Center is my new project. It is, the founder is Lisa Savage again. She has the Center for Child Development, where our therapist actually goes into schools. We're in 100 schools across the state of Delaware, and we're doing on-site therapy with the kids in the school environment. Amani Healing is more geared to women of color, and just working with these women, empowerment, and just getting through some of this healing journey that we trying to, So I'm taking clients there.
That's exciting.
Yeah. However, I don't want, because I tell people all the time when they reach out, there's other good therapists out there, and a lot of my friends are great therapists, so I'll connect them to them and refer them to their practices. So,
okay. All right. So you can still email her, and she will direct you in the right way.
Yes.
So on that note, with her, a lot of things she got going on. She got engaged.
Oh, wow.
So you got the ring on and everything.
I did.
When you told me, I was like so excited.
I did. I am taking this journey again. Wow, you got me sweating, Waynna.
Oh. I mean, it's all over social media. So
yes, I got engaged November 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, actually the day after one of my Rebirth Live events is when he proposed. Yeah.
So exciting. I'm
Very
so
exciting. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so you mentioned rebirth.
Yes.
What is
rebirth? Rebirth. How did rebirth come about? All right. So I was married before. Of course, you know that. Our audience probably don't know that. I was married for 16 years. Had great marriage, 2 sons out of the marriage and everything. But, life happened, right? Life happened just like every day. There's challenges that may come, and it just blindsided me. So marriage did not go the direction that I thought it was going to go. End up having to go through a divorce. Now, when your life is interrupted, and things are not panning out the way you think they're going to pan out, some people it could lead to depression. It could lead to anxiety. I was experiencing depression. So I went through my own thing of depression for like 3 years, right? Trying to figure out, okay, I have to rebuild. I have to figure out who I am, right? Because we know as women, we get married and we lose our identity sometimes, right?
Yes.
So I knew I was a wife. I knew I was a mother. I knew I was a therapist, but who was Shea? Yeah.
Listen. I know all about that.
Yeah. So I went to one of the coping skills that I use that I also, tell my patients is I do prayer journals. It's good to pray, but I like to journal and pray, right? So I was very specific about the things that I wanted to see to happen in my life and where I wanted to be. And I started doing that every day and just working on my own self-healing. And God gave me a name. He said rebirth. He just rebirth. And I'm like, rebirth of the soul. Sometimes you have to die a little inside in order to be reborn, right? So I had to realize that the old me, everything that I knew, had to die in order for my rebirth to actually happen. And that's where the name came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've attended a few of your Rebirth Live, and they are so good. I was like, One time it was like the men versus the women.
Yes.
Like we was going, they was going, I was like, uh-oh.
Yes.
But
yes.
so how often, let's talk about the events.
Okay.
And as well as let's talk about your podcast.
Okay. All right. So I have, and thank you so much for supporting. I really appreciate that. So we have had 3 successful Rebirth Live events. And what Rebirth Live is I have a podcast that comes on every Monday night. And we took the podcast and we brought it out into the community. And we had some phenomenal speakers on our platform, like your friend Allison and Meshach and a lot of other people, Michelle Washington. They have graced the panel, and we talk about the hard stuff. We talk about the things that we don't want to talk about within our relationships, within our families. We talk about mental health, and it's geared more towards the Black family, right? It was just a great experience. Each one has been sold out, and now we have Rebirth Live 4.0 is going to be coming. I'm looking at October to finalize that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
yes,
Most definitely. So what are some of the topics that you've talked about so far on your podcast and or Rebirth?
Yes. So we talk about everything. Like I said, we talk about mental health that's my baby. So I'm always going to find a way to talk about mental health.
Right.
Even if it's just asking the person that comes on, what are your thoughts about mental health? Just community, how can we support our community? How can we bring our community together? We talk about relationships. We talk about the high profile, the high valued man. We talk about that. We talk about what is it that women are really looking for, It's just a range of things. Teenagers, the youth, addiction. My co-host is also in the mental health field. So it brings a lot to the show, but he's Mr. Funny. Shout out to Eli. He's Mr. Funny, so he brings the comedy in. But yeah.
So that's the balance.
It's the balance between us, but there's nothing that we don't talk about. We even talk about sex, but we do it in a way where it's, because my audience is everybody.
Your mother be in the audience.
My mom is in the audience, right? So yeah, we talk about it, but we do it in a very tasteful way.
Okay. So we're gonna make sure that we put up Shea's podcast information for you to check her out on. So you can follow me at rebirth_radio on Instagram. We are on Philly Jams 95.3 FM. And you can see the podcast on YouTube on Philly Jams 95.3 FM or the Rebirth on YouTube as well. And we're also on Radio Co. and iHeartRadio. Tell me what you're not on. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was on all of those platforms.
Yes.
But it was awesome. What I loved about the last one that you had was that, or maybe it was the one before that, I don't remember which one, but where Meshach, and I talked about this before, how he shared with the audience. I mean, he shared here too on that couch that he goes to a therapist. And what I really admired most about him was when he's like, I do the dishes.
Right.
I was like, that's my boy.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I love Meshach. Him and I met years ago on a different radio station. I was on the Hottest Live Radio, and he was another person that had a show on there as well. So, it was the last Rebirth Live that we did, and it was an all-male panel.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes. So, and there was another gentleman on there who said that he was proud that he went to therapy. So, So men are going. They are going.
Yeah.
So I need you all to go as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would like to share with our audience in closing?
I mean, first of all, thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
This has been fun. It's been very comfortable.
Wait, I didn't cry.
You didn't cry. You did good.
cry. I was about to cry over there before we came on. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all good. But I would like to encourage you, if you have not been to therapy, try it. You don't have to have a mental health disorder to go to therapy. I want to let people know that.
Yes.
Sometimes you just need to go to talk to someone that has nothing to do with your everyday life, right? Somebody that does not know you, that's not connected to you, but will just be there to just listen, right? So let's normalize it. Let's normalize therapy in the Black community. We've come a long ways, but we still have a long ways to go. Stop thinking that you're not affected by trauma. We were born into trauma, okay? I mean, come on, we're talking about slavery, right? We were born into trauma. Back then, they didn't have options to go to therapy, right? Now we do, so it's time to heal some of that trauma and break these generational curses. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Have you come back on again when Trippy's here, because I know he'll have a lot of questions for you.
Okay, I would love to.
Okay, all right. So going to take another break, and I will be back with our funeral announcements and community news.
Government doesn't make a move without an agenda, some type of plan. The problem is we haven't been on the agenda. Sometimes we're overlooked. Sometimes our interests aren't the interest of those in power. I'm your host, Kerwin Gaines, on DETV's new show, The Agenda. We're going to do our best to ensure that you, Delawareans, are knowledgeable about what's going on in the Assembly. Federal government, local government, it doesn't matter. We're going to do our best to ensure that folks that make the agenda on a daily basis have to answer for it. Let them explain what they're doing. If it affects you, it's on the agenda.
Welcome back to the show. Before I go into my community announcements, I want to thank the team of DETV. They are so great. They're very patient with Trippy and I, and we just want you all to know how much we appreciate you. As far as our community news, please join us for a Juneteenth barbecue, June the 19th, from 3 to 7 p.m. at 1108 North Broome Street, which is at Trippy's house. Parking is at 800 North Broome Street, and there's going to be karaoke. So it's funny, Trippy texted this to me like maybe 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I thought he was sending it for me to announce on the show, and he was like, no, and then he texted me back later and was like, yeah, go ahead. So everyone is invited to Trippy's house on Juneteenth. It's a Juneteenth barbecue from 3 to 7. The address again is 1108 North Broome Street, and parking is at 800 North Broome Street. Please, 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 if you do come, please don't block any of his neighbors' driveways. Please park where it's designated for us to park, 800 North Broome Street. And you can give Trippy a call. I don't know if he'll answer, but give him a call. You got the number here, 302-218-8630. Next is the 2023 Church of Exodus Gospel Concert. It's going to be held at the Cathedral of Fire, which is 2300 Governor Prince Boulevard. The MC is Brother Mark Smith. This is going to take place July the 23rd at 5 p.m. There is a $20 donation, and their guests are going to be Belvedere's Men of Simpson. They're international now. They're everywhere. Minister Gabriel Smallwood, South Carolina's Little Kenny, and Wilmington's own Mighty Heirs. So once again, that's July the 23rd at 5 p.m. at the Cathedral of Fresh Fire. You can call Miss Help, Missionary Jane Williams. Everybody know her as Help or Miss Help. You can give her a call at 302-588-0032. That's 302-588-0032. Or Sister Ramona Smith at 302-588-1113. I'm gonna say that one more time. 302-588-1113. And for vendor opportunities, you can contact Deaconess Cynthia Locke at 302-429-3105, and Missionary Rakia DeRamus at 302-293-7170, 302-293-7170. New Destiny Youth Department is having Praise Power Reload, the next generation, June 23rd through the 25th. It's going to be held at New Destiny Fellowship Church, which is 916 East 16th Street. And they're going to have some powerful youth speakers. Just to give you a few real quick, is Elder Trayvon Wooten and Summer Miller. And that's on Friday. Saturday is my Aunt Joellen Edwards. That's at 10 a.m. And then Executive Director of the Wilmington PAL, Chris Purnell, will be there Saturday as well. They have other guests that will be there. So make sure that you attend to support the youth on June the 23rd through the 25th, starting at 7 p.m. Marva Richardson's From the Heart presents Change live in concert. It is a free event, July the 9th, and it's going to be held at the Congo Legacy Center, and donations will be accepted to support Velda Jones Potter for mayor. You can get advance tickets at veldaformayor.com. The doors will open at 4. An interview with Trippie and myself at 4:30. So it's going to be a live broadcast at 4:30, and then the concert is at 5:15. So once again, it's going to be at the Congo Legacy Center, 501 West 28th Street. Next, we have Duffy's Hope Celebrity Basketball Game, save the date, which is going to be August the 5th. And last but certainly not least is going to be the 3rd District Neighborhood Planning Council's, this is our second marketplace that we're going to have on Saturday, August the 19th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Vendor tables are, not tables, vendor space is $25. And we are asking for, if you have a nonprofit and would like to be a part, your space is free. We want to definitely get information out to the community if you are a nonprofit. And for more information, you can give me a call at 302-521-7325. That's 302-521-7325. And once again, that's going to be Saturday, August the 19th, and the rain date will be the following Saturday. We want to thank you so very much for tuning in to the Congo Hour. Trippie and I so appreciate you for all of the love that you have given us since we've been back. And that will be it. No, that's not it. We want to thank you so much for allowing us as well to take care of your loved one. And if you have any questions or if you would like to pre-plan your funeral services, you can give us a call at 302-652-8887. That's 302-652-8887. And of course, if you or someone you know is looking to buy a house, or even an investor that's looking to purchase a house or sell a house, please consider me as your realtor. Once again, my number is 302-521-7325. I pray that this week is the best week of your lives, and we will see you on next week.